Hey folks, welcome back to another oddity episode here with a piece of retro hardware. So a while back I did a really lengthy video going in depth with a complete teardown of the Merlin Legend. Now, when I tore out the Legend, there was also a Lingo that somebody had installed in the building, and I was just going to throw it out. It actually was in the dumpster, and then I thought, you know what, just for fun, I should probably open it up and see what's inside of it, because I've always been curious about that kind of stuff. If you want to learn more about the Merlin Legend, there is a video that I had posted previously about it, so we'll just move this out of the way. And let's take a look at the Lingo. So I don't really know anything about it. The previous there was a PBX box, which is something that had always interested me when I was younger. You know, I had a little bit of interest in blue boxes and red boxes and Phreaking and that sort of thing, if you know what that is. Of course, never did it because that would have been against the law. But honestly, I don't know anything about voicemail, to tell you the truth. So that's why I thought, let's open it up. So what we have here is the Active Voice model AV1400, and it's made in the USA, which few things are these days. And I'm trying to look for a date, in all honesty. I don't see one, and honestly, information on these devices is scarce. I mean, I looked online, there really wasn't anything decent that I could read to educate myself on it, and I don't really know anything about voicemail systems. I would guess this is from the late 90s, just by looking at it. Now, I want to open it up. So the first thing here is if I open it, the warranty's void, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead with it, and let's break this seal here and void the warranty. And then I notice here we need a Mr. Phillips screwdriver.
Maybe I can speed this up a little bit.
So it looks like this might slide off like this, which it does. So here's the cover. Now here, there was some LEDs which gave some instructions for the starting sequence, and what your problems are, or errors, like if the port's available, not available. Now this one had 4 ports for voicemail, and I'm excited to see the circuit board. I just love old chips and old circuits. So first thing I see here is we do have some batteries. Yes, it is. Merlo Mama's joining me here. So let's take this off. This is quite interesting. So these are industrial Energizer batteries, and they've of course completely corroded, and I can see there it's a big mess, so I don't want to touch them. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is actually industrial rated batteries. And it's weird how it hooks into this little 9-volt thing, and if we do the math here, this probably might actually be 9 volts, but it looks like the standard 9-volt. Now, one thing that I'm really excited about here, because I'm going to add it to the collection, and I was completely unaware that this would even be in here, is like right here we have a RAM chip, and not just a chip, like an actual like DIMM or a SIM. And I'm curious to see what kind of RAM this actually is here, and it seems kind of trapped on here at the moment. Let's see if I can gently loosen these tight clips. I just tried doing it with my fingers, but man, this thing's been sitting in here for a long time. And it looks like there was room for other additions. So if I take a peek at what these are, I mean, they're RAM chips made in the USA, and I don't actually recognize them. So we got some RAM going here, and what's this here? AMD is the processor. So we have a Advanced Micro Devices, And we got, looks like a custom IC. And I'm just gonna take the camera and bring it in for a closer look. And here's where the RAM was. And again, I'm kind of unfamiliar with this chip. It's not anything that I recognize. You know, I don't know if it's a couple megabytes or whatever the case is. And I say megabytes because this processor here is 386, but it's a processor on a chip. And so it's the AMD ELAN SC310 33KC. So the 33, it's a 33 megahertz chip. And it looks like it's a 1997 model. So these are a complete chip with everything built in, and they're permanently mounted to the board. They're kind of an economy class chip that uses a little less power than your average computer CPU. However, they're completely compatible with the 86 instruction set. They could hypothetically run Windows even. Mind you, it is a 386, but you could probably easily run Windows 3.1 on there, no problem, and possibly Windows 95. 32-bit processing, of course, although I believe the system bus that comes on this kind of chip is actually a ISA. You know, it predates the more modern ones. So it might even be compatible with PCMCIA slots, like if you had it on a mobile computing device of the time, like a laptop. And, you know, just looking at the capacitors here, they're in good shape. No bulging, nothing ready to pop. And let's put the camera back and let the teardown continue. Well, after taking a look at the 386, let's see about taking this other board off. I'm going to detach this ribbon cable, and there's two more Phillips here, and this board is copyright 1996, so let's see. A little bit more. One thing I find neat about the board here is these 250 volt capacitors. Of course, we have 4 different relays for each of the phone lines, which there's 4 of. It just pops off like so. Here's a couple little risers. And again, we got a bunch of custom chips here. Take this ribbon cable right out of here so we can take a better look. And it looks like here we well, it's called the Dolphin motherboard, and we got this area here. Looks like you could have like a PCMCIA slot or something in there. And it's shielded at the bottom. It doesn't look like there's anything to see underneath. So here's this card. And again, most of the chips on this board are Texas Instruments. And nothing too exciting. These all look like proprietary chips here. They have their little stickers on them. I can see 2 crystals here for the processor. One of them is at 25 megahertz. And the other is at 2 megahertz. We also have a chip here from Texas Instruments from 1992. And I'll do a quick close-up of that, as well as this other board here. And this, I'm guessing, is kind of the EEPROM, or well, the custom ROM anyways, most likely the software for running this. And before I do that, let's just take a look at the side here. So you had your lines 1, 2, 3, and 4 where your phone jack's plugged in. You could attach a console. Here's the power supply, which I'm missing. So I couldn't fire it up to see if it actually still runs. Coming in for another close-up, underneath the daughter board here, if we want to call it that, where the phone jack's plugged into. We do have another CPU, I guess, if you'd want to call it that. It's a digital signal processing chip, the TMS320BC52PZ, which is a 16-bit chip, which is good for repetitive serial function stuff like that, which pretty much this box is designed to do, being a voicemail box. And other than that, there's some proprietary chips which I have no information on. I couldn't tell you too much else about this board, as this is not my area of expertise in any way, and I don't really know much about voicemail systems. I just thought it'd be a neat board to look at, and obviously being a fan of electronics and especially older computing devices, I really appreciate the work that went into all these things in the past, and just always curious to open these up and see what I find. Here's just a quick view of the labeling on the back. So we got a serial number, the model number, the AV1400, and of course this one is authorized by Industry Canada, has their stamp, and it's made in the USA. Again, here's a closer look where the console and battery compartment was. Thanks for exploring the active voice Lingo, the 1400 series model with me. I was just really curious to see what was in here. This RAM here, I believe it's the 72 pin, although I didn't count the pins. It's still a little bit of a mystery to me as to what size or what type of RAM it is. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the breakdown of this voicemail answering device.